Hello. As you can see, today we're doing something a little bit different. Now, what we're doing is, since it's October, I've set myself some themes, and I'm going to build in these plots according to those themes. When I decided on this, I was thinking of Inktober, which is something people often do in the drawing community. And I thought it would be cool to do it in Minecraft for building, because building is like a form of art as well. There are many different style variations, some that are personal to me, and some that are just because. But as I am both a college student and someone who has a job, I barely have enough time as it is. So, usually Inktober is done daily. But I feel like it takes quite a bit of time to do good building in Minecraft. You can build anything in like 30 minutes. But if you want to build something good, you at least need to plan ahead of it. And I don't really want to plan ahead. So, although I do know the prompts, I can think about them a little, but I won't have enough time to plan anything. So instead of doing one every day, because I'd also need to edit the video, and that'll take ages. So if I can't finish this, I am willing to drop the project, because unfortunately, although I do think this would be very, very fun for me, I might have homework to do. It's a sad, sad life. But what I've done is I decided on 2 a week, rather than 7 a week, which is a very big decrease. But I was thinking I could do 2 a week. I'd strive to post them on the same days every week, mainly because I need to post one on Halloween, because mine is way more Halloween themed than just October themed or just drawing themed. Some of my themes are rather basic, so if you have any suggestions, I might be willing to switch one out. So far, like, see, Ghost and Ghoul, I feel like they're kind of similar. They're not the same, but they are similar. But these are the themes that could be randomly selected later on. So the first theme is over here. I'll reveal that in a minute. The last theme is over here. This is the one we're going to do at the end. And this is what we're going to do today. And these are all the themes that could be randomly selected along the way. So although I could think of one beforehand, I might be thinking of the wrong one. Like, let's say I thought of bats, but what I got was candy. So there's a little bit of randomness, and I do think some of these buildings will be objectively bad. Some of the buildings might be alright, but much like Inktober, this is used as a way to hone my building skills. And I'm gonna be doing so many of them in a rush that many of them are bound to end up really bad. I've given myself a 2-hour time limit, which is a bit flexible. What this means is I've given myself a 2-hour maximum. I could take an hour on one build and an hour and a half on another. But also, as I've said, it's flexible, which means it could go the other way as well. But I will never take much longer than 2 hours. Mainly because I really don't have time. That being said, I do think this would be really, really fun. Even if the buildings end up very poorly. Because I don't get to think about them much beforehand. And I'm also limited in time. But I put these lanterns in as well. They're not great. They could be better. But they're not. And I'm okay with that. That's the type of vibe we're going into this with. Now, you're probably wondering what the first theme is gonna be. First, let me show you the last theme. Because if not, you're going to be very disappointed when it comes to it. The last theme is just Halloween. Yes. Hopefully, if all goes well, I will be posting all of these in a timely manner. And so this one will be posted on Halloween. So the theme is Halloween. But all of these other themes have something to do with Halloween. So that's going to be the difficulty with this theme. Is I've got to do something I haven't done the previous 8 days. First theme is Acacia. Now, probably wondering why Acacia. I just wanted something simple to start us off with. And also I wanted an excuse to build with Acacia. Now these themes aren't overly specific, you know? So even though the theme is Acacia, we can relate Acacia to orange. We can relate orange to pumpkins. And maybe what we actually build is a giant pumpkin. I'm not going to do that, but that would be viable for this. As long as we can connect it somehow, even if it's through a long convoluted string of other things, it should fit with the theme. Now, shall we get started? Alright, so this is the final reveal. I do think I could have probably done way better, but I've run out of time. And since this is the first theme and I had chosen it specifically, I did have some time to think it over, so really my fault's my own. But what I wanted to go for was kind of a cabin in the woods. This water was a last minute sort of idea. I thought it would look cool, and I do think it looks cool. I think it adds a bit more dimension. Because when I was building this, I hadn't considered the floor plan of the actual ground. So I knew I wanted trees, but I hadn't considered adding any dimension to the ground layers. So there isn't much going up, but I feel like that would have been a good idea, like if there were a little hill going up, then we put the tree on the hill. And I could do that now with World Edit, but I feel like it's better to acknowledge the mistakes and move on rather than spending 3 hours trying to perfect it, because that's sort of the point of this. I'm trying to acknowledge the mistakes and make progress, hopefully. But this is my little cabin. I feel like maybe the border of the acacia logs could use a little bit more dimension. I do think these trees look rather nice. They're not perfect, but they do add a little bit. Wow. Haven't actually seen the build from this angle or many other angles. I actually don't think it looks too bad. It kind of looks better than I was expecting it to. But this is the area. I set the time to night, so I feel like it really enhances the build, especially with the orange hue. But it's also dark enough for the lights to really pop. Unfortunately, the acacia trapdoors are see-through, so that kind of defeats the whole illusion of the fireplace. Well, not the fireplace, but the smoke coming through what we would assume is the cooking station. So this would be like a chimney-ish place, and the smoke would go through. Being able to see the fire through the trapdoors kind of defeats that purpose. I did it a little swindly. You wouldn't be able to see that in... My bad. You wouldn't be able to see that in time-lapse because I only realized it after making the cooking station. And I was like, that would actually be a nice addition to the house. It would add a bit more dimension to the roof because the roof isn't very great. I do like that it's not completely even. Overall, I think it went pretty well, all things considered. I'm still fixing things. Eventually I'm just gonna have to stop. But if I wanted to fix things, there were a lot of things I could fix. I do think the texturing on the ground looks alright. I'm not so sure how the wood fits into the floor. But it might be a bit better if I had done a hill here. Might have raised the ground a little bit here, but not like a hill. Over here, I might have left it a little flat. I did add some dimension like with that, but I didn't have much room to add dimension. I could have pulled that out a bit more, but then I felt like it would infringe on the tree. Because it'd probably be about this height, so it'd be like two lumps the same size. I'm kind of proud of it. I thought it was going to end up way worse. I think these trees really pull it together. As you can see, I did go out of bounds a little bit, but that's because I wanted to be able to make the tree look nice, and I felt like I had to do the entire tree to do that. These ones I didn't really do the entire tree because I sort of got the handle on that tree. Like I said, I didn't practice any of this beforehand. And I haven't made trees in absolute ages, and when I did make them, they were absolutely horrible. So I'm actually rather proud of this, but I feel like if there were a bit more dimension in the ground, the coral wouldn't look so weird. It does look a bit odd right now, but I think it looks better with the coral than without. But I feel like it could really be pulled together if I add more dimension into the ground. Maybe that's a future project I'll do. I'll just fix up everything. Maybe next year's BuildTober will be fixing up the previous year's BuildTober. But that is the end of it. And hopefully I'll be able to film a new video. Hopefully I don't have 8 million school projects coming up and 3 million hours of work. But when I do come back, it'll be one of these random ones. I look forward to it because I think it'll be fun, but I don't think it's going to look good. I don't think it's much of a surprise to show you these, so you can see them. Also this looks ugly, but I kind of love it. I just started placing blocks, I was like, what looks orange? Maybe I should have a pumpkin head. These ones always look like... Well, on that note,